Here in Goldsboro and our other facilities, we manufacture thousands and thousands of catalytic converters each year, primarily for two outlets, if you will, one being the federal parts, the EPA parts, which are currently sold to 48 states outside of California and outside of New York. And then we have the second piece, which is the California ARB CARB-compliant converters, which primarily sold in California, obviously, and for some applications in New York. In order to be able to sell converters in the U.S. in general, there are certain processes you have to go through to demonstrate that your converter functions, based on some standards, whether they be federal, EPA standards, or California standards. California requires pretty rigorous testing and demonstrating your part meets the applicable emission standards, if you will, essentially the same as the OEM level at this juncture. On the federal side, you go through an EPA program which demonstrates compliance to a emission reduction, and that's a percentage of engine output. The compliance testing that we perform is basically to ensure that our product meets the standards and that our product does what it's intended to do, which is to clean exhaust gases. Okay, so here we have our federal or EPA compliant part, red, white, and blue colors, obviously. This would be our branded EPA part. Our California part will be similar, but it would have CARB compliant in big letters, as well as the color being green to kind of reflect the additional benefit of a CARB compliant part over the federal part. In addition to the full line exhaust, such as the pipes and the mufflers and the catalytic converters, we also offer a full line of exhaust accessories, such as gaskets, clamps, hangers, another hanger, and another gasket. So we try to include the gaskets whenever we can on the direct fit parts. And again, we offer them as an accessory for exhausts, pipes, and mufflers. If you look on the federal side, the EPA came out with their regs back in the 80s, and they really haven't changed since. California has changed at least once that I've been involved with, and each time, obviously they get a little bit tighter on the emissions. So we don't follow the OEM levels so much on the federal side. Actually in California right now, the tailpipe emissions that we have to comply with, the standards we have to comply with, are essentially the same as the OEM. So in California, sure, that would be a fair statement. For the EPA side, they're not as aggressive, and I don't anticipate a lot changing on the federal side. The only thing that I see happening, as far as an opportunity and growth in the industry, will be more states will inevitably pick up or adopt the California standards, which automatically will be an emission benefits, if you will, for those other states. In fact, there was a study done a few years ago by MECA, probably 10 years ago by MECA. They did a study on the emission benefits of adopting the California standard and presented it to the EPA. And it was basically, it was millions of pounds of pollutants that they can reduce immediately just by adopting the standard.